season, because last year's team was fantastic, I thought.
Mr. Kroll, thanks very much for doing this for us.
You're welcome, I'm sure. Thank you.
Joe Kroll, the hero of the 1947 Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts.
Gino, thank you. Those Argos won back-to-back championships in 46 and 47, the last Toronto team to do so, and these Argos looking pretty good so far here. Shalon Baker returned that kickoff just 6 yards as the Argos swarmed him, so the Bombers begin now at their own 25-yard line, trailing 27-9. Toss it out to Ron Williams. Williams tries the right side, gets stacked up quickly. Jumping in to help make the stop with a host of Toronto Argonauts helping. Safety man Lester Smith, along with Oscar Giles. And Williams does a good job picking up 5 yards up to the 30-yard line.
You know, this is a pretty good run defense. They were a great run defense last year, and they've been touted as a good run defense this year. And I tell you, the Winnipeg offensive line deserves a lot of credit. They've opened some nice holes. When you pick up 5-6 yards a pop running the football, you're doing a heck of a job up front.
Second and 5. Vargas, lots of time, slings it out there and has it complete to Milt Stegall up to the 40-yard line. And Milt Stegall has a Winnipeg first down.
Now that's the kind of play that Chris Vargas needs. He threw the ball on target. Milt Stegall, with a guy draped all over his back, makes the catch. Those are the kind of plays that breed a lot of success in an offense, and he got this play. They wanted to throw the shovel pass right there. It was taken away. Vargas makes a good decision. Perfect throw to Stegall.
First down. They swing it out of the backfield. And this is Bruce Boyko, the backup fullback, and Boyko has the catch. And a pickup of maybe 3 or 4 yards. The brothers Boyko reunited this year. The twin brothers are playing together. Bruce had been in Saskatchewan for 7 years, so now Alan and Bruce Boyko playing together for the Bombers, and that will cause a plethora of confusion around Winnipeg as the identical twins play for Winnipeg. Pickup was 3 at 2nd and 7. Vargas from the shotgun. Over the middle. Has it complete to Ted Alford. Alford now looking for the first down. Flags come down. Alford fights his way up to the 50-yard line. He'll be close to the first down, but now we've got to see what the penalty is all about. And it's an illegal block against Winnipeg, so this will come back. Don Matthews, no question in his mind, take it back.
And I'll tell you what forced the illegal block was the fact.
Illegal block, Winnipeg number 25, repeat second down.
Was the fact that Alford didn't go north and south once he caught the football. He decided to run east-west, cross the field. His receiver trying to get a block for him to help him out, blocked in the back, and it made an illegal block.
Well, Ronnie Williams, 25, tries to come back and help out, and there's no question he hit the Toronto Argonaut player from behind. Couldn't quite tell who it was, but I think that's a good point by David Archer that as Alford gave up some depth, he lost the blocking angle from his fellow players.
2nd and 17. Vargas drops the snap, and no chance for him right off the start there as Andrew Stewart was all over him. Chris Vargas fortunate to get the football back, and now more pushing and shoving breaks out. Winnipeg will be forced to punt. Boy, you go from a potential first down on the pass to Ted Alford to now a 2nd and long, and you don't get a playoff. That's a bad turn of events for the Bombers.
You know, gentlemen, you could talk about all the strengths of the Argonaut defense, and they're strong everywhere, but I think last year, and it looks as though this year is going to be no different, the push from the two defensive tackles, Andrew Stewart and Rob Waldrop, on quarterbacks like Chris Vargas is really the strength. They push that pocket and make it so difficult for quarterbacks to function. Now, that was a bad snap, but I think the two guys in the middle for Toronto are real strength in their defense.
Bob Cameron is back to punt. The pinball is back deep. Booming high punt by Cameron. Pinball from the 34. Pinball is stacked up quickly on the play. Ron Williams gets down and help make the tackle. A 47-yard punt and a return of 8. Back to Skydome right after this. Back Back at Skydome in Toronto, the Argos with a 27-9 lead in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as the Argos begin defense of the Grey Cup championship they won in 1996. Doug Flutie from the shotgun. Wanted shovel pass, lost the football. Now Flutie has it back. Are you kidding me? Flutie gets it away, and it's incomplete. He was looking out there for Feldman Malvo. Flutie makes nothing out of something that could have been a lot worse.
You know you have talent when you can do the shovel pass to yourself. I mean,
does he get the catch there too?
He gets the catch, everything. And if I didn't know better, I'd say, hey, he tried this, but he didn't.
No.
You know, Shante Peoples did a great job of covering that, and Doug pulled it down. He does such a great job of making sure he doesn't do the wrong thing. Doug minimizes mistakes better than anybody in the league. That's why they're so fluid on offense.
Feldman Malvo, by the way, was offside on the play. It's declined, but had he caught that pass, he would have negated his own catch again.
Well, I like that graphic. Ahead of last year's average pace and offense per game already tonight. And we haven't even finished the third quarter.
Flags are down. This is picked off. Shannon Garrett. Look out. He's got a convoy in front of him. Garrett inside the 10 is brought down at the 7-yard line. Now, this may not count. The flag came down late, and it's in the area that would indicate it was offside against Winnipeg. What do you think, Dave?
Toronto, no end, 9, first down.
Oh, procedure Toronto. The 46-yard interception return for Shannon Garrett will stand, and the Bombers get a huge break.
God, he did a super job to break on the football to get this pick. The ball just hangs enough that Shannon Garrett steps in front of Paul Mazzotti, makes the interception. And, you know, when you're struggling on offense and you want to get back in the game, you either have to do it on defense or with special teams. And Shannon Garrett has given them the big play and the chance to try and get back into this game.
Give an assist there to Shante Peoples, because Shante Peoples came off the stunt, got in Doug's face, and made Doug hang the ball.
First and goal from the 7. The Bombers trying to claw their way back in. Ronald Williams through the middle. Williams gets inside the 5, down to about the 3. And it appeared as though there was early movement. There is a flag down. It's way off the field of play, and it looked as though the Argos jumped again. And it is offside against the Argos. So that'll slide the Bombers a little closer. And we'll hear the call.
Offside, Toronto number 91, first down.
Demetrius Maxey
David,
goes offside.
One of the things I know about Flutie, when he's going to take pressure, take hits, sometimes he throws and ducks at the same time, and I swear you lose some velocity on the football when you do that, and that allowed Garrett that split-second extra. Agree?
I don't think there's any question about that. And you see him talking there with Paul Mazzotti. I believe that there might have been a miscommunication on the play.
First and goal from the 3. Vargas to Williams. Ronald Williams, touchdown. So the Bombers take advantage of the turnover, and don't look now. Winnipeg is right back in the football game. The Argo D has given up its first touchdown of 1997.
We've talked all night long about this offensive front and what they've done running the football, and they continue to pound the football. Here they shove the ball in again, and Williams has done a great job of finding the little cracks and the little creases and pressing the hole. Here he just presses behind the offensive line, pushes himself into the end zone.
And usually, Dave, you know, you've been around it long enough. When you get to the goal line, you can't block everybody. You have to expect your back at some point in time to run over somebody. And he ran over number 94, Oscar Giles, a big defensive end, to get that touchdown. And that's an outstanding effort to take advantage of the turnover and try to change old Mo just a little bit in this game.
Troy Westwood with a point after. It is good. And now the Winnipeg Blue Bombers trail by just 11 with 4:02 to play in the third quarter. Back at Skydome, where the Toronto Argonauts, after throwing an interception, have seen the Winnipeg Blue Bombers dent their defense for the first time this year. And now back deep to receive the kick, Feldman Malvo, and the pinball, Mike Clemens. And Troy Westwood lets out the war whoop. Wow. Don't know that I've ever seen that before. Here's the pinball from the 20. Pinball takes it up outside the 40, still going. Pinball up across the 50. to the 52-yard line. Kesley Perrin comes up to make the stop. A 31-yard kickoff return for Toronto, and Ron Williams sails into the end zone thanks to the sailing offensive lineman Kai Bjorn.
Well, David Archer's given a lot of credit to the Winnipeg offensive line, and rightfully so. Watch the block by Kai Bjorn on Mike O'Shea right here. Just simple, turn him to the outside, and that allowed Ronnie Williams to pick his hole and get into the end zone. And the camera on top of the goalpost is going to give you an interesting look here.
See, if you could sit on the goalpost, this is what it would look like.
You know, it's great to see Kai Bjorn playing well. He suffered a shoulder injury, had surgery last year. He was with me in Ottawa. Good to see him back.
Flutie on first down. That pass is knocked down and caught by one of his offensive linemen, Mike Kiselak. And, well, he hot-foots it close to the line of scrimmage as he's knocked down at the 50-yard line. Is that a catch? I think he gets credit for a catch for that, does he not? Once the ball's tipped, he's eligible. And
you know, Big Mike, I played with Big Mike for, they're going to call it illegal touching. The ball was batted. Looks like Jake's going to wave this one off.
Oh.
That's pretty good, though. Take it. He's been in the defensive meetings where they say, take it at its highest point. That was pretty athletic. Tommy Fagan tipped it. Mike Kiselak got it. He's laughing.
Now the penalty will wipe it out. Feldman Malvo goes over to Kiselak, says, that's okay. I had my catches wiped out, too. I know how you feel.
The only thing Kiselak's disappointed, he wants to get his name in the stat column in the paper tomorrow.
Now tell me, Doug Flutie, if he had a game on the line.
Receiver, Toronto number 63. Line, second down.
Tell me if Doug Flutie wouldn't be upset if he had a game on the line and threw a ball and hit that camera.
No. He'd be fine.
I know I would be.
We'd get a good look at it.
Poor Mike Kiselak, he's ineligible. You know what? He was robbed there.
You know, I played with Big Mike for 3 years in Sacramento and San Antonio. He's been an all-CFL the last 2 years and Player of the Year on the offensive line last year. Well-deserved. Great player.
Now Flutie will take a time count violation because there was some sort of problem with the alignment. So with 2:58 to go, Flutie hangs his head a little bit. The Argos look a little ruffled here.
Not to bring up bad memories, David, but I mean, you mentioned your time with Mike Kiselak. Was that not on a Sacramento team that gave up 75 sacks on you 1 year?
It was, but I can't blame it on Big Mike because he was the only guy that played all 18 games that year.
No, I mean, I'm not blaming
Blame
it on
him
Mike.
more. He was there for all of them.
75 times on the ground is a lot.
Second down, here's a pinball off the shoe tops. The pinball makes the catch across midfield down to the 54-yard line. He'll be a couple of yards short of a first down. I'll tell you what, Temper's really flaring out there now.
You know, David, you talked about the John Jenkins influence on this offense. This is the same offense as a year ago, but Jenkins has been allowed to put in some of his idiosyncrasies into it. That's a run and shoot play that he has put in. It's a screen. There's Jenkins in the middle with the glasses and the blonde hair, but he has put in a play like that where it's a screen, but Pinball Clements is moving towards the line of scrimmage when he catches it, and it is a tough play to defend against. So that's a little wrinkle that he has added to this already terrific offense.
Now the Argo offense goes to the bench. Shalon Baker now back deep to receive this kick from Mike Vanderjagt. The Bombers looking for big things from Baker. And he gets out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line, but good special teams work by Michael O'Shea, a 38-yard punt, an 8-yard return for Shalon Baker. And a pinball blew a tire on that play.
Well, he's a contortionist, so he probably has about 15 pairs of shoes over there he changes into each game. I've never seen some of the angles that he gets his ankles and feet at, and I'm sure he tore a thread there.
Now Winnipeg, with 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, is right back in the football game, down by 11 and starting at its own 24-yard line. Vargas under center. Gives it off to Ronald Williams. Williams finds a seam out across the 30 and bangs his way out to the 38-yard line. Tell you what, Ron Williams has really been impressive. We talked about him last year with BC. Last year, he averaged 5.8 yards a carry with the BC Lions, a second-year man out of Clemson.
It's a great job again by the offensive line. Big Kai Bjorn comes in there and seals it right there on Ken Benson, and Williams is right on target with pressing the hole and getting up in there.
Well, when you run the traps, you have to get the turn-back blocking over the center to be able to do that. And, boy, the execution of that offensive line has been flawless in this game. They're not the fault for Winnipeg being behind.
Here's Williams again, out across the 40, still fighting, gets up to the 43-yard line. Ron Williams, a native of Marietta, Georgia, which just happens to be Dave Archer's home these days. And while we mull that over for a moment, let's get an update from Montreal.
Gord, the Ticats have finally found the end zone in the fourth quarter. They were down 27-4 when Anthony Cavill finally hooks up with Ted Long. 23 yards for the touchdown. They go for the 2. They don't get it. It's 27-10.
Tell you what, fans in Montreal have seen that movie before when the Ticats were down by 20 and came back to tie a game and force it to overtime. Now Vargas quickly over the middle. Oh, the pass was incomplete. He was looking over the middle, but Marcelo Simmons was all over the intended target, Milt Stegall, and Vargas will make his way to the sideline.
Well, obviously, I'm not privy to the offensive game plan of what Winnipeg's got going as we see the good protection up front that we've talked about this offensive line all night. I think they've done a great job. I really felt like Stegall should have sat outside, saw the coverage, a lot of people inside. Sit down for Vargas. Let him pop the ball to you. It's a 2nd and 5 situation. Find a little crease. Get open for him.
Here's Brett McNeil with the Conan the Barbarian look down there. Cameron to punt. 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. He booms another one. Clemens from the 22-yard line. Here comes the pinball. Must be the shoes out across the 30 to the 34-yard line, and that's where the Argos will start late in the third quarter. Lots of CFL action coming your way on TSN this summer. We've got it all covered for you. Thursday, we've got Calgary against BC from the stadium at BC Place. And Sunday, the first installment of Toronto against Hamilton. Get out of there, Danny McManus. Get out of there. Toronto-Hamilton at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific. And an injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber, and it's Ron Williams. That would be a costly loss.
I don't need Ron to go down. Hey, we're going to be in Saskatchewan next Friday night.
Friday night next week in Saskatchewan.
Excited about going there. Taylor Field. My favorite place to play in all of the CFL. Some of the greatest fans that have ever come to watch a CFL football game are at Taylor Field, and I know they'll have their colors riding high, especially with the effort that their team made last night in BC to come back and win that ball game.
And that is a good-looking defense Saskatchewan has. The trade they made, they have Katie Williams, Bobby Juris, and a terrific linebacking core.
I think Williams appears to be all right. Here's what happened to him. He's got his hand caught in there. Yikes. Well, he'll have some time to heal that as the Argos have the football at their own 34-yard line, and Williams comes off with a smile, close to 100 yards rushing against a tough run defense.
That's got to be a plus for Chris Perez, a guy that got cut from this Toronto team, was an all-CFLer, really pounding his ex-teammates right now.
Moody from the shotgun. Lots of time. Has a man over the middle, and that time he's got the catch. There are no flags, and Feldman Malvo has his first CFL catch. Well, it was worth the wait. That's the end of the third quarter. The Argos with an 11-point lead. Malvo with a 30-yard gain on a catch that finally counts. The fourth quarter to come right now to Friday Night Football Control.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Friday Night Football, live at the quarter, is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Friday Night Football after 3. It is still the Argos, but, hey, we talked about after the half that Toronto really hasn't taken advantage of its chances. It could be a lot bigger score, and that was really, with the help of some Winnipeg defense there in the third quarter, Marty, emphatic.
Well, the Argos are winning, and I still think they're going to cover the point spread, which is 14 points, but they're out of sync. They're making a lot of mistakes, especially offensively. They're not finishing off their drives. They're committing turnovers, throwing the ball away. I'm sure that they didn't think they were going to come out like this, and they can't be happy with their performance in this game so far.
You talk about adjustments and what adjustments they could have less. What have you seen defensively that Winnipeg has done any differently at all?
Well, I saw that Shannon Garrett probably made a personal, individual adjustment himself. The coach is going to call the same plays all the time. You might as well sit back and watch it. And Gino Reda touched on this before. He said that Ryan Bolt told him to sit back and not be in a pressure zone so much, and that's what Shannon Garrett did. And plus, he's the only returning defensive back in that secondary right now. And I'd like to mention that they have a receiver, number 5, a receiver trying to cover Mike Pinball Clemens, and that's not working.
Right, and that's the fella that was in Montreal last year as a return guy. Dexter was playing there as a running back and as a receiver last year. One thing that David Archer talked on at Game Site was how good Mike Kislak has been as a player in the Canadian Football League. And I've been around the league a long time, and I think Mike Kislak is probably the best offensive center I've seen play in this league.
Wow.
Well, momentum has changed certainly at Sky Dome. If you thought the Argos should be running away with it, just an 11-point lead to the fourth quarter now. Back we go.
Wolf comes out, corners on the backside, linebackers.
Darryl Drawlin, the Argo coaching staff, talking over on defense while the Argos execute on offense lead.
Well, Doug Flutie again buying himself some time, and again he finds the lane to throw downfield where he can find the receiver, and finally Feldman Melvo gets a catch that counts.
First down, Toronto from the Winnipeg 46-yard line. Flutie under pressure all the way back to his 40, just throws it up, and it flies out of bounds. The Bombers calling for an intentional grounding call, but won't get it. Flutie threw that ball about 50 yards, 20 of it out of bounds. Here are the numbers after 45 minutes of football, and look at the passing yards. 386 for Toronto, just 53 for Winnipeg, and total yards 439 for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, really, after 3 quarters of play, 53 yards of passing in this league just won't get it done. I mean, that puts too much pressure on your defense, and I love this look. Overhead cam. Tommy Fagan has a shot at Doug Flutie, but Flutie, was it grounding? Probably.
He was looking for Joe Kroll there, who's standing on the Argos sideline. Joe said, I want nothing to do with that. I retired 40 years ago, man. Leave me alone. Second down, Flutie steps up, and Shannon Garrett almost had his second. He was hand fighting down there with Daryl Mitchell. And Garrett, who has a pick earlier from the football game, breaks up that play, and the Winnipeg defense hangs in there again.
You know, Les made a good point at the break, talked about Shannon Garrett adjusting his game. They're playing a lot of the same coverages, and Garrett's now starting to get a feel for the guy he's playing over. He knows Doug likes to throw that little curl route, that little option route, and he's jumped it twice now, once for a pick.
And Flutie's talking to Daryl Mitchell about coming back to me. Come back to me and I'll get you the ball.
Well, he's saying once you get separation from a defensive back, you have to keep working back towards me to keep that separation. And if you stop, that allows Shannon Garrett to come over the top and make the play.
Shalon Baker back deep to receive a booming punt from Mike Vanderjagt. This is Baker in the end zone. And he'll concede the single point, so the Argo lead that was 11 becomes 12 on a 59-yard single by Mike Vanderjagt. Shalon Baker was brought in to try to improve the Winnipeg return game. It's been years since the Bombers have had a breakaway kick return. Well, Chris Vargas began his CFL career with the Edmonton Eskimos. In fact, a couple of years ago, he and Kerwin Bell were sharing time. And Vargas was the comeback kid for the Edmonton Eskimos, combining with players like Mark Tobert and Shalon Baker. Then he went to BC, where he and Andre Ware shared the quarterbacking duties last year. But Vargas comes over to Winnipeg with Coach Jeff Reinbold. Now he's got his shot, as Dave Archer said earlier, to be the man. From his own 35, Vargas steps up, delivers it in behind the intended target. He was looking there for Sean Graham. That's the first football that's been thrown his way tonight.
You know, Gord, you talk about Chris Vargas starting with Edmonton. When he was battling with Kerwin Bell, he actually got to start 7 times that year. Now, he was 5-2 as a starter, so he has enjoyed some success in this league. Yes, it was a few years ago, but for him, I mean, this is a pretty good opportunity. There's not a lot of pressure on him, but he's got a chance to be the starting quarterback. And if he plays well, which he's not really doing tonight, but if he plays well, I mean, he can end up with having a good career with this team.
Threw 13 touchdown passes for the Edmonton Eskimos in 1995. Second down for Vargas. Up over the top for Baker, and that's knocked down. What a play by Donald Smith. Shalon Baker had no chance as Smith came over the top and broke that one up quickly.
And this is a good throw. This is an accurate throw. It's a long throw back across the field. But he put the ball on target and gave Baker an opportunity to make a play for him.
But again, Dave, it's a 5'6" receiver working against a 6'1" defensive back. And Baker didn't get up for the football, and it was a pretty easy play for Don Smith to come over the top and make. And Vargas is saying, hey, I wish my guy could go up and get that and make that catch for me and help me out.
Cameron the punt from his 20. Trying to angle it away from the pinball, but this is right in the middle of the field. Clemens from the 30. And pinball is wrapped up quickly. Good job on special teams by Dwayne Knight. Limits the gain to 3. Back with more right after this.
Play Safeway's all-new $1 million touchdown to win.